Hello, this is Pastor Rodney Garcia, and today I'm going to talk to you about the different concepts of God that exist in the world. The first thing I want to point out is that there's a wide spectrum ranging from the view that there is no God to the extreme opposite view that everything is God. All the way to the left of the spectrum is atheism, which is the view that God does not exist. In this concept of God, God is merely a figure of the imagination. At worst, he's make-believe, a fairy tale. At best, he's a crutch for those who cannot handle the pressures of life. Closely related to atheism, but moving towards belief in God, is agnosticism, which is the view that no one can really know if God exists or not. Those holding this concept are riding the fence, so to speak. God may exist, he may not. They are unsure, but the question really doesn't seem to bother them. Moving into belief in God is the concept of monotheism, which is the view that there is just one true God. Within monotheism, there are at least three distinctions. The first one is what I'll call rigid singularity, which is the view that there is one God who is a single being or person. The second distinction within monotheism is called modalism, which is the view that God is one being or person who takes on three different modes or roles: Father, Son, and Holy Spirit. So it is like rigid singularity in that God is one being, but that one being can operate as the Father, as the Son, or as the Holy Spirit, depending on what he is trying to accomplish. And the last is called Trinitarian, which is the view that there is one God who is made up of three distinct persons or beings: Father, Son, and Holy Spirit. In this view, the Father, Son, and Holy Spirit are distinct persons from each other, and yet are each fully God in themselves. The three are united together to make one God. Moving down the spectrum, we get to polytheism, which is a view that there are multiple gods. In this concept, the many gods have varying degrees of power, authority, or sphere. For example, you can have the god of love, the god of war, the god of the sky, the god of the underworld, etc. Moving further down the spectrum, we come to panentheism, which is the view that God is in everything. So God exists in the trees, in the water, in animals, even in people. And to find God, you look to nature. All the way to the far right side of the spectrum is pantheism, the view that God is everything and not just in everything. So, in this view, you can worship the trees, the animals, or even yourself, and be worshiping God. It is the polar opposite of atheism. So where do we find these concepts in the world today? Well, atheism and agnosticism are found in secularism. The rigid singularity form of monotheism is found within both Judaism and Islam. There are some Christian groups that hold to modalism, but most of Christianity is Trinitarian. This is, by the way, the concept of God that I ascribe to. In an upcoming video, I'll explain why I do. Polytheism is found primarily in Hinduism, but also in ancient Greek and Roman mythologies. And finally, both panentheism and pantheism are found within New Age and spiritualism movements.